cynical and sad, son. Dudes talk a good one till they really catch a bad one. Hit you with a 1-2.
Okay, why'd you call the new album Beautiful Foundations?
Let them know, Frost. Let them know.
Well, it
Frost
also
came up with that. Frost came up with that concept. Well, I mean, after I did the song, but you know,
yeah, it all started with the title track. This was almost 3 years ago now. So our process is we keep a folder of beats. So whenever Chop feels inspired, he just grabs the vibe that speaks to him in that moment and he records to it. And on this particular day, he sent me 2 verses recorded to one of my beats, and it blew my mind. And it's what became the title track, the first track on the album, where he opens the song talking about our history, talking about where we came from and how we got to here today. And to be honest, it got me choked up. It was like a love song between brothers, and it blew my mind. And I was like, "Yo, Chop, this is incredible. You got me in my feelings over here, and we're gonna turn this into an album." So, "Beautiful Foundations" became the title for the song, but then it expanded into an album concept. And we ended up wanting to tell our story our way. We're older fellas. We've been doing this for a long time. And sometimes we've had the privilege of working with marketing professionals or publicists who would put the story forward, in the way that was best situated to move the record. And for us at this stage in our life, we want to tell the story. We want to tell our story ourselves, tell it truthfully, get into the details, and really just explain why we're here, what we're doing, and what this culture means to us. And that's what the album became.
Understand what we built will never collapse. He had a sampler we used that came in a rack. He would loop samples up while I came with the raps. He had a 4-track, a mic and a stand. It was those days that made me as nice as I am. He used to rap too, he was slick with the speech, but he decided to quit and just stick with the beats.
yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is. Like his beats, it's like there's tons of them, so whatever I feel, like I said, that's what came to me at that time with that beat. It might be something fresh he sends me, and then it'll catch me right away, like, oh, I gotta knock this one out quick. Or, it's like I said, that one spoke to me in that way. So that's what came out. You know what I'm saying? My man Will K did the hook on the end and all that at the ending part later on. You know what I'm saying? He's another cat from out here, but he lives in Florida now. So that's another reason why he's not in the video. But we try to fill up his space in the video anyway. Because but he's definitely a good dude. He's an artist as well too. So but we just wanted him to be. I thought who would be able to come on the end like that and tie everything in. So that's why I hit him up like, yo, you want to do the hook for this? And not only did he do the hook, he just did his little verse part at the end too. So we just kept it all. But it was originally just those 2 verses, and talking in between even, then we just put the hook in between, and then took the talking out. But it originally had talking like in between each verses or whatever. It's like we've been doing this a long time, so I don't know too many people, especially as partners too. I don't know too many people that's been like as close as me and him is friendship wise. And then we've been making music together since the late '80s, early '90s. You know what I mean? So it's like I used to do stuff on my own. Where I would like do all the beats and use it, instrumentals and all that because it was mixtapes. But I used to put them all together myself. You know what I'm saying? But Frost was always a part. 1 beat, 2 beats, whatever. Like I always hit him up like, yo, I need something. You know what I'm saying? And I always included them. And then like 2016, brung it all together. Was 2015, 2016? I mean, Veteran we dropped in 2016, I think. So we tied everything all together at that time and just decided to bring it together as one entity. Probably should even have did it sooner. You know what I mean? Like I said, we did it that way so I could just concentrate on writing just the writing and just the songs and everything, as far as my part goes. But I still make beats too. I just rather, I just like it. Me and him just have a certain chemistry that a lot of people don't have. So, and this has always been this way. We've always had this chemistry since young. So we just carry down the tradition now and just keep it going. But this album means a lot though. But yeah, he's the one that came up with the concept, and then we just kept recording and adding songs to the folder that went with the theme and everything. So that's how it all came about. But yeah, he put it all in a nutshell in the beginning. But yeah, it was his idea and concept. I just did the first joint. I'm saying, he saw the whole thing. He does it with everything though, too though. It's like when I've said this before, you know, when I do a song with him, whatever the beat is titled, I just send it back to him that way. Then that'll be the title of the track at that time, you know what I'm saying? And then a lot of times when I record the song to it or whatever, he'll come up with the title and everything, you know what I'm saying? So, it's just, unless I already have an idea, I want this called such and such, but most of the time, he comes up with the title for the song and everything, right off the bat. So it's like we just have added, we probably had like 30 joints altogether and then, had to pick and narrow it down, so yeah, it's about
Okay.
it.
Tone, there's a song, should have stayed home that you went off on.
Yeah.
My favorite lines was even your man to tell you don't start him. He got bars. These bums get out barred. I bombard them. You've been doing this for a long time. At
Right.
this stage, does it excite you to put words together that maybe people haven't heard before?
Yeah, of course. That's what I do this for. You know what I'm saying? I put a lot of thought into what I do. And I feel like a lot of rappers, even most rappers, don't. They don't even they just come up with the first thing that rhymes unless it's somebody that's really technical or you know what I'm saying. And a lot of people, I think the more technical you get, the more less people like to listen. Really, I'm saying I like to keep it technical to a degree, you know what I'm saying, but simple at the same time because I want people to catch stuff, even though stuff still goes over heads anyway. But at the same time, yeah, wordplay is like I said, I've said it a million times, like the craft is very important. I tell the young kids that and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, I mean, it's just important to me to be able to put, to come up with stuff that nobody else is saying. Because some people, like I said, they don't care. You could be like, oh, so and so said that, and they'll be like, I'm gonna use it anyway. I can't do that. Like, if I know somebody said something, you know what I mean? Like, there's lines that people said a million times, and you could be somebody I respect heavily, and they'll still use something that they know somebody used before. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like they don't put their best foot forward to try to think of the dopest shit. You know what I'm saying? I like to think of the dopest shit. You know what I mean? I guess it's a matter of opinion, but to me, I'll try to think of the dopest shit that I could come up with. You know what I mean? But yeah, wordplay is important. All of it's important. Delivery, you know what I'm saying? I just keep trying to get better and better at it. Even at this age, I'm still trying to improve. I ain't you know what I'm saying? I'm not unstoppable or untouchable or nothing. But you know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm dope and I just try to get better. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. I probably wouldn't have been doing it this long if I didn't feel like I was improving and getting better. I'm always trying to improve. So, but yeah, man, I love that. That's one of my favorite songs. And that's one of the ones when I heard that beat right away, I knocked that joint out the park quickly. Like that one didn't have time to marinate. As soon as I heard that beat, I was like, oh. But Frost was like, even the line in there, Frost is like, oh, you gotta talk breezy on this one. So that's, you know what I'm saying? That's what I did. you know, but yeah, that beat didn't have a chance. You know what I'm saying? It didn't marinate at all. I just went at that joint. That one came to me right away. Like, nah, I gotta smash this now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's one of my favorite beats on and songs on.
Yeah,
Hmm?
yeah. Frost, I wanted to ask you the song "Nah Nah No." That sound on the hook is that a vocal sample or is that like a keyboard?
That is a vocalist. That is
Ah,
our Chop's homeboy named Mindframe, who's a cool cat that we mess with, and we wanted to include him on the project. He's really dope at writing and performing hooks. Um, but when I mix songs, I'll often mix them in a way where you can't tell if it's a sample or a vocal. And the effect that I applied to his vocal that trails off very much makes it sound like that. We've heard that a couple times on this project with Bring the Pain also. People thought that was a sample, but that's actually our
Bring the
homeboy.
storm, bring the storm, bring the storm,
Bring the
bring the
Storm, sorry.
storm. Yeah.
Um, that's actually our boy Yasha on there doing the hook, right? A lot of people thought that was a sample. So I appreciate you asking that because it kind of comes down to the way I mix. I guess I'm so, in tune to digging for samples and flipping them that sometimes I treat the
And
vocals
it's
just
crazy with mind frame. Like if I come at him with an idea, he'll start pacing. He'll be like, I got something for you right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he'd be so added like that. That's his like energy. Oh, I got something for that right now. He's like super dope, excited. You know what I'm saying? He'll start pacing in the room. He's like, just give me a little bit of time. I got you right now. You know, and and then this is how he is. He just vibes. He could, he can't really sing, but he could, he's got a little melody to him or whatever. And he raps too. You know what I mean? But, yeah, he's just like I got some other dope stuff in the cut too that he did, that he did the hook on too. There's some other dope records, but yeah, man, he's just like, yeah, man, he just starts pacing back and forth, and then he's like, all right, I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just laid the verses down, and I just let him hear certain stuff, and then that one caught him. He's just like, took him a minute to get it the way he wanted it to, but you know what I'm saying? But he's like that. Like Frost said, like his mixing is the Bring the Storm joint. Everybody thinks it's a sample. Oh, where'd you get the sample from? I'm like, that's not a sample. My man really sing like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and him too. That record, he had that hook next day. I'm saying he sent me a voice clip, like this the idea I got. I was like, whatever, come over. I was like, you ready? Came over the next day and then recorded it. You know what I'm saying? So and the way we record it, you can't even tell. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the hooks, we're in the same studio, but me and Frost don't record in the same studio. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that I mess with records here, and then I just send Frost everything dry, and then he puts the spices on it. You know what I'm saying? But that's how we work. Like I said, he knows. You know what I'm saying? And he makes all type of beats, but he knows like certain ones. He's like, oh, I already know. You know what I'm saying? And that like the should have stayed home one, that one didn't have a chance, bro. The nah nah no one neither. Neither. The bars came up quickly for that one too. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it's like certain ones come right off the bat, or at least a good portion of them, and then like I go back and finish them some. So like sometimes the second verse or the end of the first verse or whatever might take a little while to get it the way to tweak it the way I want it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, yeah, that's basically like hook wise. I got like a lot of homies that do music, and they just get so excited just to be a part of shit. You know what I mean? When I ask them to do something, they're ready. You know what I'm saying? And all the people that did hooks on this album is people that I wanted on the album too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, they're from my area, and I believe that, they deserve to get some shine too. And we figured this is gonna be a good time for them, you know what I'm saying? Like the Thank You DJs one, that's my homie too, and she could sing her ass off. Like her music is crazy. It's like, and and she's young too, and I always tell her like, she's like, what does playlist mean? Like she don't know none of that. You know what I'm saying? So when I send it to her and I tag her, the mad people played that song already. When I tag her in it, she's always like, oh, what does it mean? I'm just like, like she's never been on the radio or nothing, but she can sing her ass off. She just does open mics and you know what I'm saying. And, but she just really started recording, honestly. Like when I first heard her, it was she does all of her music live. Like she has a gazillion songs, but she just does them all live, and that's the first way I seen her. She does everything live. You know what I'm saying? And then like I think like last year she started recording a lot of them and getting them done in the studio. But I mean, yeah, like, she just don't even know she's like, what's a playlist? What does this mean? And, I'm trying, and I explain it to her, like, you know what I'm saying? She's never been on none of them. I was like, I was like, if I get too tag crazy, just let me know, you know what I'm saying? Cause I just want you to see the type of love you getting for the hook, you know what I'm saying? And that was light work to her too. She was overthinking it. Like, she was like, I don't know. I don't even know, I was just like, all we want you to say is thank you. That's it. And, then it came easy after that. She was like overthinking it. You know what I'm saying? Because she could really sing. She's like she's R&B, acoustic, all that. She plays the guitar and sings. Like she's super dope. So yeah, like all the hooks. Anybody that we got guests on hooks is people that we wanted. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's like most of them is just local here, people that I know that I've been messing with for a long time. So yeah, that's it. I get the rambling, man. Don't mind me, man.
Okay, Frost, I wanted to ask you about another beat. Grown Man Bar.
Crazy. Another
What
one.
what genre did you get the horn sample from?
I'm bad about remembering off the top of my head where things come from. I'd actually have to look in the session to figure it out. One of the things I'm proud of on this project is I grabbed from a lot of different sources. So you'll hear, if you listen closely, you're going to hear samples layered on top of each other. And most times those samples were taken from different songs because that's really what inspired me coming up. And, we're not signed to a label. I'm not worried about clearing anything. So I do what I want to do. And so I might grab horns from one joint, bass line from another joint, drums from another, and try to piece everything together. And that joint, like I kind of knew right away that beat was a winner. Like Chop said, there's certain ones where I know it's just there's not going to be any dust on that one. It's going to get recorded to right away. Other times it might take a while for the right mood to strike, or the right topic to come up that fit the beat. But yeah, that one was. That one took off right away.
Hold on. You said you're not worried about clearing samples and stuff. Has that has not come back to bite you at all?
No, never. No. So like, I want to be careful about this. So if a young producer's listening to this, don't take this as advice, right? Like talk to your lawyer and all that. But I've been, like Chop said, I've been releasing music since the 80s. Been on the radio all that time. We did have a little like label situation for a point in time. Nobody cares. Nobody cared. If you have a record that blows up and it has a sample in it, they're gonna find you. They're gonna get your money. But until that happens, I'm not gonna worry about it. Like, this is my culture. I digging in the crates is part and parcel of who I am. Like, I could stop making beats before I stop digging for samples. It's absolutely my favorite thing to listen to old music and discover something and inspires me. So
me too.
I'm not going to stop. There's no chance. And there's nobody that can tell me I can't do it anymore. And if a legal issue comes up someday.
And that's another beat that didn't have a chance either. That one got knocked out quickly too. That's another one. That's 3 verses too. Like, that one, that's another beat that as soon as I heard that one, I'm like, yeah, this one's definitely getting smashed quickly. So yeah, then, we just hit up PF because PF plays a lot of, he was like one of the first ones to play joints, you know what I'm saying? And he's a fan, a true fan. Anything we send him, he plays it, so we just hit him up like, yo, you know what I'm saying? He was overthinking that too. And I told him like, bro, this, you know what I mean? So, I love that record too. You know what I'm saying? People,
Uh,
I performed that record a bunch of times too. People go crazy over that record. So, they're listening to, because when I perform, it sounds just like the record. You know what I mean? Like, so, people heard that record. I was recorded a couple times before the album came out because we released that one with him because he was on it early. You know what I'm saying? So we released it strictly to him, early on. But yeah, that's another one. It's like certain ones, you know what I'm saying? It just comes to me. And then other ones, it might take a little bit of time. Even if I got the idea, it'll, if I know where I want to go with it, it'll still take. But I knew I was just gonna bar crazy on that one. I knew it. You know what I mean? So yeah,
I
that's what
wanted
it
to
was.
ask you about the lyrics in that one because um, on Grown Man Bars, you say I grew up on Rakim and real rap. You grew up on Chief Keef and drill rap. Uh, lately, I've seen a lot of people like on Instagram and stuff. Uh, what's that guy's name? The guy from St. Louis. Um, he posted a video. One of Nelly's guys posted a video saying that Ghostface is trash. Uh,
Yeah,
you seen that?
yeah. Trash
And
bars.
trash bars, yeah.
Yeah,
And
Oh,
and then another guy, um, I guess he's a young guy, was saying, everybody talks about mumble rap, but Slick Rick is a mumble rapper. Like Slick Rick is, but I guess that's what it sounds like to them, his accent or
yeah.
whatever.
And then that's what
But
their music sounds like to us.
well,
My
yeah,
son
but
listens to drill rap. You know what I mean? Like I said, that it's just a difference. You know what I
there,
mean? That's why I said it. It's just a difference in, you know what I'm saying? Like I know some people, I know some young cats that once they give the music from the '90s a chance, it's over. They off to the races. Young bucks too. They like, oh man, like they've been missing out. And then some of them will not even listen to drill rap no more. You know what I mean? It's like they just don't know. That's the young cats is that that's what they're getting smothered with. You know what I mean? So and
that was my question, man. Like, there has to be a way to bridge the gap. There has to be like, do you think it's possible to bring both generations together to at least have mutual respect?
I like some of it. I don't really like drill rap, but I like a boogie with the hoodie. I like some, I'm saying my son plays stuff sometimes where I'm just like, it might not be my cup of tea, but I see where it's going. Some of the melody stuff it's not terrible, but it's the stuff where they're just saying the same thing over and over. My apps, this, you know what I mean? It's like, come on, man. It's like, oh, I'm smoking on your dad and all, you know what I mean? Like that stuff is just, I just feel like it's uncalled for. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. Like I said, I like a boogie with the hoodie. There's some stuff that I can dig, you know what I mean? When I say Chief Keef, I'm just saying like it's a difference in the type of music they listened to when they came up, and it's a difference between the music that I listened to and came up on. That's all. You know what I'm saying? It's just a difference.
It's definitely a difference, but I feel like it's not productive. Like, I don't listen to that stuff either, but it's not for me. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Same thing with me.
it's not for me. That being said, I'm not gonna disrespect it. Like, if that's what you like, that's that's your thing.
Why not? They disrespect what we listen to. Why not? How is it okay for them?
It's
You know what I'm
not.
saying? Right, but
That's my
yeah,
point.
yeah,
Both sides. This goes
right.
both ways. I think it goes
Yeah.
both ways. There are some, yes, that's what that was my point in like talking about the Ghostface stuff and the Slick Rick stuff. Like, to me, that shit disrespecting Slick Rick to me is
First of all,
blasphemous.
that trash bars dude is corny, and he's just doing it
Oh
for
yeah,
clout. I've
yeah.
seen people speak up. I just seen I want to say Rockweiler
Okay.
just made a video about that dude. Like, dude, he's doing it for clout. Like you're dissing, Buster Rhymes. Like, dog, you serious? Like. Busta Rhymes?
I didn't see that one, but
Yeah, he's
yeah,
got a ton of them ways dissing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I am
I get
following
it, but
Buster as
but the
well.
hate, but the hate is clicks too, though. That's what it's all about. He
Yeah,
probably don't even think that music is trash. He probably really like it, and he's just doing it for a certain look. You
that's
know
the
what I
truth.
mean? The build. People they love it, bro. They clicking anything that brings you drama or hate or whatever. It's clicks. That's all they do it for. He probably like Ghostface. He probably likes people that he says is trash, and he's just doing it for. He's just doing it for a look and clicks and
that's
views.
if that's the truth, that's lame. Like, because if
I
you
I
really like
I bet you.
somebody, you don't do that.
Yeah, but they got also people that be like, oh, this dude is crazy with the bars, and they're clearly paying that person to say they got bars because they don't. Like, bars where where
You know,
maybe if you stepped your pen up a little bit, they'd be telling the truth, but they're clearly not. Like, some stuff I watched, they'd be like, oh, this is so crazy. I'm like, what is so crazy about it? Like, what is so crazy about it? You know what I mean? Hey, like I said, to each his own. And I wasn't really dissing the young people neither. I'm just
right,
saying,
right,
like, it's a difference. The stuff that you listen to, like, the stuff that they listen to and the stuff that I listen to is different. But like I said,
completely different.
I like some of it. You know what I'm saying? I listen to R&B, I listen to rock and roll, I listen to whatever. I'm not no, hip hop is first and foremost, but believe me, just like he said, sample and all that, bro, I listen to AI singers, all type of stuff. You can't never. Sometimes the AI stuff is so good you can't even tell. And then the way the lyrics and stuff is, sometimes it'll grab you anyway. A lot of people hate on AI too. I don't like people that just you're using Suno and you're cheating. You know what I mean? It's still cheating. But some of it gets released and you can't even tell until you really go in and see, oh, okay. And then you see that as AI. But you know what I'm saying? I listen to R&B. I listen to rock and roll, jazz. I listen to everything. I go to this joint. I go to the spot out here where we're having our release party at. They got vinyl night where you bring in a vinyl. You know what I'm saying? And you play one side of it. Everybody get a chance to play something. Believe me, bro, I don't sit there and be like, man, look, they listen to Kendrick Lamar, all type of stuff. And stuff that a lot of stuff is rare too. I'm like, who's this dude? Sometimes I'm like, I've heard some dope shit, you know what I'm saying? That I was like, who's that? You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of people like Kendrick Lamar. I don't really listen to him either. You know what I mean?
I've been hearing
I,
that a lot. Who is that talking to? Young Z from the Outsiders. I interviewed
yeah,
him a few months back, and he was like, "I don't really like Kendrick like that." And
I'm not a fan.
a lot of people say that. Again, I'm 50 years old. That's not my stuff, but I see the talent in Kendrick, and there are some Kendrick songs I really like. Uh, but it's not
I've heard
again,
a, I've heard a few, but I don't be like, I'm not. You're not gonna come in my crib and hear me playing Kendrick. I'm not mad at him or nothing like that, but
right.
you're not gonna come into my crib and you'll hear A Boogie before Kendrick. Seriously, I don't. I'm just not just. I just don't really. I'm just not a fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. We can't like everything. My thing is respect. That's my concern. I wish these kids had more respect, and I wish our generation gave them a little slack. You know what I mean? Like, I think it goes both ways. Yeah, it's that stuff ain't never gonna be for us ever. But just let them have their thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's I don't know. Who's the guy? Lil Yachty. He made the comment that like some golden era rap was whack, and he cited the Sugar Hill Gang. Like, he was like, Sugar Hill Gang wasn't talking about nothing. No, they wasn't. But I think if that's where his mind went to, when people say you need to spit lyrics, there's a disconnect.
Right.
Because nobody was talking about Sugar Hill Gang. You know what I mean? No. That's the beginning. We talking about
Right.
like from
Right.
Rakim on.
That's party
Every
rap, and that's party rap. That's when they went to the party and they was like, you know what I'm saying, getting the house, getting the crowd hype, and they started off with that, with those type of rhymes. Those are the type of rhymes that got the party excited and hype and all that. So you know, the young kids don't, a lot of them don't know about them days, and they don't care. You know what I mean? Like
That's very true.
I grew up all the eras, so I know, like I'm saying, like I said, that record, I'm not hating by any means, but at the same time though, like I said, a lot of it's not for me. But I don't be like, you know what I'm saying? Some of it's horrible, but some of it's not. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right,
Some
right,
of
right.
it I could see, and some of them, you know, like there's like, I don't know, like 5 Foreign. There's like some of them that like they could really rap if they want to. You know what I'm saying? Like 5 Foreign could rap. He came here. You know, we had him here in town before. You know, a lot of people like him. I don't dislike him. Like I said, it's just certain stuff. I'm just not. You're not going to come in my crib and hear it. You know what I mean? But you know, you might, like I said, you might really hear A Boogie before a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? Because, but that's courtesy of, of my young son though, because he
Yeah.
listens to a lot of the new stuff, and I'll listen, and then he'll be like, you know, ask me if I like it and certain stuff. I'm like, it's cool. You know what I mean? Like I don't be like, turn that crap off or nothing like that. It's nothing like that. But you know, some of it, I'm like, it's pretty dope. You know what I mean? Like, you
I
know,
think I saw something recently that said most people listen to the music that was their shit in their teenage years. Like whoever, like when you were a teenager, that's what you listened to for the rest of your life. And that might be true. Cause that's kind of, I mean, I listen to new stuff, but the shit that I'm playing over and over again is still Wu-Tang. It's still like Nas, like the shit mid 90s, early 90s. That's the stuff that I play all the time. So
right. Yeah, I
I
like
don't
it.
know.
I like, you know, Ransom,
Oh yeah.
R.J. Payne, Conway, Benny.
Yeah.
Like those are all the top names. Like those are all the top. Like that's the type of cats I check for. But there's a lot of other ones though. Like I surf through Instagram a lot. Frost will tell you I share a lot of different stuff. You know, I'm a person that shares a lot. And if I like something, you know, even beats too. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna hit you up and ask you for a beat or nothing. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of dope producers too, but they not him. My chemistry is with him. You know what I mean? So I got a lot of friends that's dope with beats too. And I'm dope with beats. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, but I just connect more with him. You know what I mean? Not like I can't rap on whatever, you know, I've always been able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, when I was doing mixtapes, I was rapping on everything, trap beats, all type of stuff. You know what I mean? So whatever I felt at that time, and then I was always had, you know, homies in the studio. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody liked something, I would jump on it anyway. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, like I tell people all the time, what me and Frost do is what we do. But you know, I got on records. I get on records with homies and all that where it's not what me and him do. You know what I mean? And I'm more than welcome. I'm still gonna do me. You know what I'm saying? I'm more than welcome to jump on something, you know, with the homies. That's not what we do. Like I said, I mean, me and Frost just do the type of music that we like to do. You know what I mean? So, and a lot of times it's a lot of deep records too. We only release them a little bit at a time because people don't gravitate to those as much. You know what I'm saying? We got a bunch of those in the cut. You know what I mean? So it's like we just try to sprinkle because you know people don't, you know, like the Enough record and all. I had that. That was just like one verse that was a live. It was over that beat live. It was just like a, you know, reading it off the paper type of joint. Then, you know, my man, you know, I wrote the second verse, and then my man came over and just did the hook. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but we got records like that too. It's just what I wouldn't do. I don't know if you ever heard that record, but that's one of my favorite records too. But
Yeah,
people love that one.
that was my next question. That was my next question about Enough, because that's a serious record.
Right.
Why was that important for you to write about something so serious on that song?
Because I have friends, tons of friends, people that I know. And, I was never into drugs or nothing, but I had friends and close people close to me that was. And like where I live at, meth and heroin are like the two top drugs out here. And young kids are getting a hold of them. And you know what I'm saying? And it's easy. And, there's places where they let you go and, they give you the needles and everything. So you're clean and all that. Like, it's just, like I said, man, I've seen it firsthand where, that's why I'm rapping from that perspective, because I've seen it firsthand and I know what it does. Like, you get sick. Once you do it one time, you're sick automatically. So, you know what I'm saying? All it takes is once. You could sniff it or shoot it or whatever. It don't matter. Once you use heroin one time, that's it. You're sick until you get it again. You know what I'm saying? That's so, and then people go, nah, I'm done with this shit. I'm done with it. But then their body gets so sick that they need it. And then that's what happens. And that's what that whole verse is about. And meth is the same thing. I know people that told me they stayed up for 2 weeks, no sleep or nothing off of meth for 2 weeks straight. Not barely eating or anything. That shit that had you up for 2 weeks. And I'm just like, that is crazy. Like I lost one of my friends, one of my really good friends is like a brother to me. And he used to use meth. And the thing is, that's not what he died from. But you know what I'm saying? Like he had a heart attack, but you know what I'm saying? Like, but after just the over time of, constant going down that path, you know what I mean? Like it's just sad, man. Like where I live at, it's bad. For a small city, it's terrible here, man. Like every time you turn around, you see it. The drug epidemic here is so terrible. And when I was growing up, it was never like this. They had the little crack era and all that. That was bad, but you know what I'm saying? The heroin and the methamphetamines I'm talking about, it is bad here. You know what I'm saying? And it does not discriminate. It's young kids. It's, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then, like I said, with the heroin, all it takes is one time. And then your body can't function without it. You know what I mean?
This is madness, it's so hard to kick the habit. Cause you're sick and don't feel better till you have it. It hurts cause this is the worst drug. You spend your whole life chasing that first buzz and never get it again. Telling yourself every day you gon' quit, then you hit it again and again. Throwing up, body aching in pain, till you get your next fix, but ain't fixing a thing. And them cravings don't stop, making it harder to deal. On a mission to get money, many rob and they steal.
Yeah, like that song was very important. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I had to, it's like this they have this thing here called the Trail of Truth, and it's just like it's like tombstones of everybody that passed away from drugs or alcohol or whatever. And the number of people that passed away here, a lot of them young, under 20 years old, and all that, it's crazy. Like the drug epidemic here is terrible. Just like this is not a big city by any means, but it's a small city, but it has the same problems as a big city. A lot of those problems are here too. And it's like just as bad as it is in a big city here. Homelessness, uh, drugs, violence, it's all bad here. Like so. And I grew up here my whole life. So I seen from when I was young, we used to be able to go outside and play hide and seek and manhunt and all that, and not have to worry about a single thing. Past dark, all that. But now you can't do that now. I'm on my kids all the time. Like, nah, once it starts getting dark, you're in here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a single father. So, I got two teenagers and I get it. Teenager is not the same. Being a teenager now is not the same as it was when I was growing up. It's different. So, They're like, oh, you too hard. No, I'm not too hard. I care and I don't want that. It's just bad. But yeah, that song was very important. And it started out just as a live video, just one verse, just the heroin one, and then I'm just like, I'm gonna tie in meth too because that's the other biggest thing. You know what I mean? They're chopping it up with animal tranquilizers and all. It's crazy. It's not even heroin no more. It's something else. Everything they chop it up and cut it up with, you know, just all the time. You read about, you know, um, they say the overdoses is going down, and then next thing you know, but you hear the ambulance all the time. You know what I mean? There's Narcan boxes everywhere. It's just bad. You know, it's worse here than it is. It's just as bad here as it is in any big city, Chicago, NYC, whatever. It's just as bad. So yeah, that song was important. Like I said, we got joints, but you got to spoon feed them because they don't want to hear that. Nobody wants to hear nothing with a message anymore. So you gotta go easy with it, or else they're not gonna listen to it. They'll skip right over it. You know what I mean? What I wouldn't do is another song that I had that we released not too long ago, and that's another one. But I'll tell you what, whenever people and look, enough just came out, people was already hitting me up like, yo, this song just touches me in a certain way because they got people that they going through that right now, or they had people that went through it. Like people hitting me up already, like, yo, and we just dropped the video today. They hit me up like, yo, this song right here, it hits different because they know how bad it is here. So yeah.
Okay. Well, last question. What is Beautiful Foundation's place in the Tone Chop and Frost Gamble catalog?
This is the capstone, man. But one of our motivations behind this album is we're both in our 50s, and tomorrow isn't promised. We all have health risks, and who knows what'll come. So we wanted to make sure we dropped off our absolute best work. And so, and I don't know if you've seen Sharon, but in addition to the album, we released a mini documentary as the complement to the album, telling our story, what we've seen, what we've done, how we got here. We had a number of visuals prepared for this album. We had everybody featured on the album. It's friends, fans, like people we have real kinship with. Nothing about the project is transactional. It's all off of love and mutual respect and folks that we've developed real relationships with over the years. And it was super important to us to deliver this album. So, like, I don't know if the Iran thing jumps off tonight or whatever, the world ends, or I dropped out of a heart attack, whatever, we can, Chop and I can take pride in knowing that we dropped off the absolute best piece of work that we could at this later stage of our life. It's the capstone right now for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just I don't know. It is, like I said, it's just important. And I feel like this album is needed. And I know probably a lot of people say the same thing, but I feel like this album is needed. Not only for us neither, but I feel like the game needs this album too. It's needed. A lot of stuff is, a lot of people's not even doing songs no more. No hooks. Don't know nothing. There ain't even no hooks no more. They just one verse or whatever, and you know what I'm saying? That's what it is. It's just a verse and they go. You know what I mean? Like there's not even, it used to be three verses or whatever. I don't do three verses all the time, but if I'm gonna do three verses, I'm gonna make sure that all three of them is crazy. You know what I mean? And then, but yeah, this album is just not only important to us, it's important that we give it that we get it out right now. You know what I mean? Like, because like tomorrow's not promised to anybody. You know what I'm saying? Well, me and him got a bunch of other music too, and that we gonna keep making music. We are, but you know what I'm saying? But this is the one we had. This one needed to get out, and we've been planning this for years now to put it out. You know what I'm saying? So, we just want people to enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I respect everybody's opinion. I'm not the person that would get mad over if somebody's not feeling something or whatever, like, but I, I'm not bragging on anything, but everything's been pretty positive with this album too. You know what I'm saying? And I got a lot of friends that are not they're not biased. They don't care whether they hurt my feelings or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm the same way. They would want the same type of respect for me. You know what I'm saying? So I got a lot of friends that are critical, and you know what I'm saying. They like, no, this is the one. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we wanted. That's why we put this together, because we wanted people to be like, yeah, this is the one, because this is the one to us. You know what I mean? Like this is like the final boss. And you know what I'm saying? And we're gonna win. You know what I mean? It's like the final boss before the game is over. So, we had to make sure this was that. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, we just want people to enjoy it as much as we do. We had it, and you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I got some friends that they don't care that I'm Tone Chop. They don't care that he's Frost Gamble. You know what I'm saying? Like, they love us, but at the same time, they're not gonna be like, nah, this is that and that's that. Because I give them the same type of critical, opinions as well. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if somebody tells me, oh, they not messing with this, but so far everything has been pretty positive. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's like we just needed to get it out there. I've been I've been on him as much as I can. He's like, oh, we're doing it soon. We're doing it soon. And like I said, that's why we got the label with it too, because so like I said, I just want to concentrate on writing the best shit that I can at this time in my life. Without all the cursing, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I got kids, and I want them to be able to, like, my young son listens to a lot of new stuff. But my older son though, he plays guitar, he's very talented on the guitar. And like I tell people all the time, if I do a show and he's there, he knows everything. They be like, if I don't have a hype man, but if I do, he would be the one. They would be like, yo, if you need a hype man, he's the one. You know what I'm saying? His energy is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But he's the one that is tapped in. But he grew up like he listens to all the 90s and, Cannabis and Nas and Jay-Z. And like, that's the type of stuff that he listens to. Big L, stuff like that. But that's because of me, though. When I used to put it on his Xbox all the time. So he was playing his games, and that's what's on the Xbox, and he's listening to it. Method Man is like his favorite rapper. He likes Snoop. You know what I'm saying? He likes all that type of stuff. So, when I perform and he's there, they like, oh, they know it's about to be crazy because his energy is crazy. He's up on stage. He knows all the words. And, you know what I'm saying? And then my young son is getting like that too. But like I say, he listens to a lot of new stuff. You know what I mean? He may change too. His taste is getting a little different. You know, like he'll be like, oh, he trolls me all the time, because that's what they do. Oh, you're trash. You know what I mean? Joking around, whatever. But and then, but he knows words to stuff too, though. So you know what I mean? He'll be like, oh, this is my favorite one you got right now, or whatever. Yeah, but he'll be like, oh, you're trash. You know what I mean? That's just how they talk. Teenagers these days like to talk a lot of, they troll and whatever. So I even get trolled by my own son. You know what I mean? But that's about it, man. This album is just important, man, and I feel like it's a masterpiece. We both do, and we just hope that other people feel the same way we feel. You know, that's it. We put we put the best foot forward and try to put out the best work we can at this time, and that was this, and that's what it is. That's the final. There was like 30 joints. You know what I'm saying? So we narrowed it down to these. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Beautiful foundations. Like I said, we feel like it's a masterpiece. Somebody else might not feel the same, but that's okay too. It's not going to offend me.
All right. Tone Chop, Frost Gamble, thank you for joining therealhiphop.com.
Thank you, man. Thank you for this interview. We appreciate it. 100%.
Yeah, you're welcome. Peace.
Peace. Have a great night.
Yo, what up? It's your boy PF Cuttin'. Yo, I got my dude Tone Chop with me. He about to go in.
Off top, I ain't nothing you should toy with. Oh, you gotta rep, mine's bigger, I'll destroy you. Grown man bars, yours is little boyish. Just heard your album and I didn't enjoy it. That bull you talking, I can't feel that. That's somebody else's life, who told you to steal that. I grew up on Rakim and real rap. You grew up on Chief Keef and drill rap. We not the same at all, you need to kill that. Chill that, before I come around where you chill at. Walk up in your stool like I own it. With a handman, start smashing studio components. Take your spot over, make it my domain. Blaming you slow.